Hello guys, Karudo here with another Duskhaven video. Just recently, Duskhaven released their roadmap for most of the content the server is likely to see this year, and there's a lot to look forward to. In this video, I'll briefly go over everything and see what we can likely expect. Before we get into it, if you like this kind of Vanilla Plus content and want to see more of it, like the video, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment below. Alright, the first major patch, 3.0, will probably be released shortly, as its due date is listed as spring. One of the main points of attraction here is the long-anticipated BARD class, which will surely attract many people to Duskhaven in order to try it out. This class can be a DPS or a healer, has a relic weapon, and focuses mostly on hymns and all kinds of songs. They've recently released an overview of the spells and given a general idea of how the BARD will work, and I have to say it's looking very interesting. I really hope they get it right, so we can get another viable healer class in the game. Currently, there are 7 tank specs and only 5 healing, so the BARD will go a long way to balancing it out and mitigating the frequent lack of healers, provided it is tuned right. Next up is AQ. Now, it doesn't say here if we're going to get both the gates and the temple of Ankiraj, but I'm guessing we will. Why not, right? It'll be interesting to see the custom stuff Duskhaven adds here, and which item level the loot will be. I'm guessing AQ20 will be on par with Blackwing Lair, and AQ40 will be a step up. Also, will there be an opening of the gates and the war effort? I doubt we'll get the full deal, so it'll probably be a modified version, maybe some quests or something. The Tinker is getting a rework in this patch as well, which is probably necessary, as currently it's just a hunter with some toys, more or less. I've leveled one to 60, aimed at making a guide for it, but that'll have to wait until after this rework. And finally in this patch, we're also getting a new zone. It doesn't say which one, so let's see what other options there are. It's not Grim Batol, because that comes later. My guess is Scarlet Harbor, in preparation for the upcoming raid. A pretty significant patch with some very interesting additions. Once we get into summer, we'll get patch 3.1, which heals in Season 3 on Duskhaven. The first thing to note here is the new raid, Scarlet Onslaught. After doing Scarlet Monastery, Cathedral, Mythic Plus dozens of times, this isn't something I'm particularly stoked for, so I hope there are some creative bosses in there, not just the End, High Priest Psycho, Commander Zealot, or Priestess Haughty. We're also getting a new Mythic Plus dungeon pool, something I am pretty damn excited for, because I really enjoy the Duskhaven system and the new twist it gives to old favorite dungeons. Currently, there's been no information regarding which dungeons we're getting, but let's see if we can whittle down the possibilities. Here's a list of all the available vanilla dungeons. Quite a lot here, nearly 30, due to the fact that a few dungeons have been split up into multiple parts in a red core. For Duskhaven Season 1 we had, as far as I know, Ragefire Chasm, Black Fathom Depths, Deadmines, Zul'Farrak, and Scarlet Monastery Library, and the current Season 2 includes Sunken Temple, Shadowfang Keep, Stockades, and Scarlet Monastery Graveyard and Cathedral. If we cut away the ones we've already had, this leaves us with 19 potential options. Given the way Mythic Plus dungeons work, and the current status of the realm, I think we can cut out SM Armory, Uldaman, and Strat Life. Uldaman because it's bugged or something currently, and the others because we've just had a pool with 2 Scarlet themed dungeons. Season 1 had one, and the new raid is Scarlet 2. Apart from that, your guess is as good as mine, but I'm guessing we'll get at least one of the Razor Fens, a lower level dungeon such as Wailing Caverns or Nomergan, and at least one Dire Maul. Probably North, as that's the one which seems to lend itself best for a Mythic Plus version. If you think about it, Dire Maul North Tribute Run was the original Mythic Plus. Go through the dungeon and only get loot at the end. Scholomance and Lower Blackrock Spires seem way too expensive for Mythic Plus, but of course that's easily remedied with some blockades. Another option might be the Stormwind Vault mini dungeon, which is currently only used as a low level quest to get your mount. Anyway, in this patch we'll also get profession updates. Awesome if done right. Hopefully we get some new recipes and fun items, modified TBC or red ones, some more use for jewel crafting, and generally way more of an incentive to actually get professions. There's also a note about story and quests and class halls. Sounds pretty neat, fitting perfectly into the theme of Vanilla Plus. In the fall, we'll get patch 3.2 with world events, elemental/curse invasions, maybe something more like retail World of Warcraft, such as daily quests and so on. There are also content and system updates planned. This could mean anything, so I won't comment on it. And there's also a mount overhaul. Not really something I'm overly concerned with, if I'm honest. A mount is something to get you faster from A to B, and the current system works just fine. However, if they're planning to introduce flying, this could open a whole can of worms and take away much of the vanilla feeling we've got going here at Duskhaven. So hopefully they're smart enough not to go down that road. Moving on to patch 3.3, Season 4 on Duskhaven will be released, bringing with it 2 raids, Nexramas and Karazhan Crypt. Pretty undead themed, which will be a decent change from the current dragon, beasts and humanoid heavy raids. And of course we're also getting a new Mythic Plus pool, which seems to be rather soon after the previous season, but I'm all for changing it up frequently to prevent content from going stale. And finally, in the winter we're getting patch 3.4 with Grimbetal and Chromie raids. Grimbetal seems pretty obvious what it'll be, an Orcs and Dragons raid with a probable overhaul of the zone in Eastern Wetlands. The Chromie raid looks promising as hell. It'll probably be an alternate version of Elven Forest, a timeline where the Orcs weren't repelled. Keep in mind that these raids come after Nexramas, so that means there might be completely new gear, higher eye levels, actually going beyond the content Blizzard originally released all those years ago, through Vanilla Plus. And there's also a mention of zones overhauled, which could mean anything from a few graphical additions and quests here and there to a full-scale Cataclysm level overhaul. All in all, this stuff looks great, most of it, and I sure am looking forward to participating in it. Now to end the video, let's go over some things that aren't on this roadmap. Keep in mind that they've made it clear that it might change and that not all the content which is planned is included here, but still. The number one thing I'm missing here is an updated PvP system, such as arenas or battleground incentives. It could of course still be put in rather easily and not warrant a mention here, but I think if something major were to be planned regarding PvP, it would have made it on the roadmap. Pretty disappointing, but honestly if you're coming to Duskhaven to PvP, you're in for a disappointment regardless, as that's not what this realm is about and most likely will never be. In one of my previous videos, I've mentioned a few things I would like to see added to Duskhaven, and most of them aren't here, such as new races. I had at least expected the goblins to be added this year, because that was actually advertised on the old website, and it seems rather unfair that if you want to play a Tinker, you have to play Alliance. However, perhaps the addition of goblins will be included in the Tinker rework, who knows? Another big thing I wanted to see added to Duskhaven are more custom leveling zones, but it seems very likely that we'll get at least some of those this year. In summation, despite some things I feel are still missing in the general picture, Duskhaven seems to be adding plenty of fun and engaging content this year, and I'm pretty sure this will keep attracting new players, provided they can keep the lag and disconnects under control. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this topic. What are you most excited about? What is missing that you would have liked to see? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching and see you in the next video.